Hello, 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 hello. How are you guys doing? What's going on, family? What's going on? How are you guys doing out there? Can you guys see me clearly? Can you guys see me clearly? I want to make sure you guys can see me. How are you guys doing this evening? I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Just really want to appreciate you all for staying the journey. I really just want to appreciate everyone for staying the journey and for being consistent with the learning process. That's really what's important, right? Staying the journey and being consistent. I want you guys to think about that for a second. Just think about that in your whole life for a second. Just the consistency of things. Staying the journey, being consistent. Think about what that consistency has done for you. As we jump off into this, I just really want you guys to think about that for a second. Think about what that consistency has done for you in your life. Because it's good to kind of reflect, but reflect on things that are doing great for you. See, we don't reflect on the negative, we reflect on what's doing great for us, what's doing good for us, because we already understand the negative. So the concept is to get away from it, right? So just that reflection and then think about your consistency in things that you have done. Like being here. Think about your consistency in things that you have done and like being here with me. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys again for jumping on. I really, really appreciate you guys for staying this journey. I love it that you guys decided to rock with Mr. Boston on the Leadership Summit. It's been such a phenomenal thing to really keep going with all of you, because that's really what's important to me, right? That's really what's important to the team, for us to be able to just bring you guys consistent leadership throughout the world, throughout the country, throughout all these platforms that you guys are listening in on. And the Leadership Summit, ladies and gentlemen, we have strategic conversations when we come to the Leadership Summit, right? We have strategic conversations. And that is what I love about this summit, because it allows me to review what you guys write in on, people that I meet along the way who have listened to the podcast. And they may say to me, hey, Mr. Boston, why don't you guys speak on this? Why don't you guys talk about this? Talk about these current events, or talk about what we're lacking in the world, right? Talk about what we're lacking in the world. And I've been hearing that a lot. You hear about different situations, or people say, hey, why don't you speak on the fact that we have problems happening across the water, or we have lack of information with when the economy is taking such a hit. Are we going to be in a financial downpour in terms of things getting bad? Are we going to be in that position? And so you meet people and people talk about different things. You travel around the world and people tell you about different things. And what I came to understand is that everywhere I go in the world, everywhere I go in the city, wherever I am, people have the same thought process. It may be delivered or it may come out a different way, but people have the same thought process. People all want essentially the same things. They want a good life. They want a job that can satisfy their immediate needs, their bills, and to make sure that their families are okay. Their concerns are pretty much always the same, right? For the most part, wanting to make sure that their job is secure, wanting to make sure that whatever the leadership in their city, town, country, whatever it is doing right by the citizens of that city, of that state, of that country. It's all pretty much the same thing when I discuss and speak to people and find out these things are happening, right? It's always pretty much the same thing. So it led me to the dialogue, the short dialogue that I really want to have with you guys today. It led me to that because I said to myself, I said, wow, there's so much information that I'm always getting when I get out the door, because I'm a conversationalist. I love to listen and I love to share information from what I hear and whatever I study. And I love giving the feedback. Why? Because I love when people share information with me and I'm able to have a dialogue with them, and then it might be something that I have to go and look into. And when I speak to that person again, or run into these individuals, or they email or phone me, I'm able to tell them, hey, that information that you gave me really worked out, or I learned a lot from that information. Does that make sense? And then they're saying the same thing too, like, wow, thank you, Mr. Boston, for sharing that, because that really helped me. And that really helps the organization at the Leadership Summit for us to be able to grow, for us to know how to stretch, how to expand, what we need to do, what we need not to do. So these things are really great for when you're having those dialogues, right? And it led to this day. It led to this day's topic on what I really want to talk about. And it's so important to me, this dialogue that I want to have today. Extremely important to me, this dialogue I want to have today. And because of all that's happening, I felt like it was so needed. And there's so many moving pieces to this talk that I know it's a segment that I must, even before starting, continue different chapters. Even before starting, I must continue different chapters. Why? Because I see the need is so necessary in society today. So if you guys are joining me today, wherever you're joining from Facebook, wherever you're joining from YouTube, wherever you're coming on from, I want you guys to grab your pen and pad. I want you to grab your phones, your Androids, your iPhones, your laptops, and put your notepads close by, because there's some information I want to share with you all so that you guys will be able to study this too and go ahead and see, well, wow, this might be fitting, or this is fitting to where we are right now. This is fitting to where we are. So let's dive in, guys. I'm going to move a little fast, but not too much, because I said I'm going to compartmentalize this for all of you, right? And when I felt this in my spirit, I said, wow, restoration, right? That's what came to my spirit, said restoration. So maybe somebody need to hold on to that. I said, wow, restoration. Okay. That's what came to my spirit. I said, restoration. In my studies, talking to people about restoration. And why did it come to my spirit when I said restoration? I said, wow, because I myself needs to be restored in different things that may take place in my life. So when I kept hearing and feeling restoration, I said, wow, when I look at the world, I look at what's happening, I said, wow, restoration. But what exactly, when we talk about restoration, what exactly? So label on your notepad, right? Restoring broken leadership, right? Restoring broken leadership. I want you to note that, right? Restoring broken leadership. Because I was hearing restoration so heavily in my spirit, I said, wow, I need to dive in. I need to look at what's gone on in my life in the past. What's going on in my life in the current? What can possibly go on in my life as we move past the current into the future that I am planning for, right? And then I look at the whole scope of things and I said, wow, restoration. This is big. Restorations, right? So let's talk about that for a second when we talk about restoring broken leadership. Let's look at our country. Let's look at the world. Let's put the world on the stage right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put the world on the stage right now. And I want you to think about wherever you're calling in from, wherever you live. I want you to think about your leadership. Think about your leadership in your city, in your country. Think about your government for a second. And just think about the situation that your country or your state or city is currently in or facing. Think about government or leadership in another country that maybe you might be watching television a lot, keeping up with the news, the intake of information that's coming in, and that information that you're assessing. What has been your assessment with the leadership? Okay. What has been your assessment with the leadership? Has the leadership been good? And if so, then I want you to just think about that for a second. And have the leadership been bad? I want you to think about that as well. And then I want you to really think about, wow, so I have a great leader that we like, but this happened to that leader. Or I have a great mentor, pastor, doctor, lawyer that was so good or is so good at what they do, but these things happened. And now that leadership or that individual who was in such a good position or who has done such great things, now there's a question mark. Now there's a question mark. Because now you're saying, wow, these individuals were elected to this position in my country. They're the politicians there. But now these individuals. Awesome. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? All right. Go ahead and put 1 in the chat box if you guys can hear me. All right. Were you guys hearing me all along? Were you guys hearing me all along? I want to make sure. Put 2 if you were hearing me all along. Okay, good. Awesome. Beautiful. So I want you guys to, this is extremely important for what we're going to talk about today, because if you got to this call, wherever you're coming in from, you're going to say, whoa, I'm glad I made it. You're going to do that. Whoa, I'm glad I made it. See, there's a question mark now by that leader or that individual, okay? There's a question mark. So let's look at it this way, right? Now, you have that leader or that lawyer, that doctor, whomever it is, right, that was actually someone that you looked up to or they promised so much. So when we look at our government, let's look at that. You get all these promises from those who get elected, and they are elected by us, right? And then a lot of the times we may have 1 or 2 that are really effective in what they're doing, right? And then we have the rest that may do an okay job. But then every so often you have this exceptional leader, but then things happen, and then it becomes a question mark. A leader get caught doing something, or a person of great interest gets caught doing something that they should not have been doing. They get caught. You guys, we can detail so many different stories that happens on television these days, right? Someone that you highly respected, but then they're caught doing something that they shouldn't have done. How they should have handled the budget, they didn't do it. They might have taken capital and put it somewhere in where they should not have done that. They might have been preaching on a law of no drugs or gun violence or whatever it is, but then they're caught doing that same thing in which they were preaching against. But this is someone that you had a lot of respect for. But now, because these things came out, but not only was spoken by someone, was visualized, caught digitally. So now you have a leader that might have denied what happened, but now it was shown digitally to that individual, and now everyone is seeing what that individual preached against, but they're actually doing that same thing. If you're following me, go ahead and put 1 in the chat. If you're following me, go ahead and put 1 in the chat. Because you see, a lot of us, we go through things in our lives, right? We all go through things in our lives that sometimes we may fall short. See, here's what I know for sure. Everywhere we go, if you, when you turn on your devices, these cell phones, laptops, right? When you were at home as a youngster, you get to watch the television and you're watching 1 channel, 1 station. When you pick up your phone these days, ladies and gentlemen, and you go to some of the platforms, you're not only seeing 1 channel, you're seeing 10 and 15 and 16 different media coming at you. So information comes so fast. So when something happens to someone that we may adore or say, wow, this person is doing amazing, but then they do the opposite, right? They do the opposite. Then it's blasted out there. But here's the thing. When those different platforms and those different channels are coming at you, you hear so much about, oh, leadership. How to become a leader, how to be awesome as a leader, how to do great things as a leader. how you can lead your family into such and such, how you can lead your office into a better place, how you can lead your company. So we hear all of these things about leadership and how to become a leader and how to be a better leader. But we never hear how to restore broken leadership. Come on, somebody. We never hear how to restore broken leadership. And that is what I want you guys to hold on to and understand, because we hear about being a leader, but we never hear how to restore broken leadership. See, first you got to think about characters, right? You got to think about characters. I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think about this. The alphabet, A, B, C, they're characters. And they remain characters in every language that exists. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. They are characters and remain characters in every language that there is, right? But see, when you are a leader, right? Or when you profess to step into leadership, and I like to tell people that we're all leaders. I want you to understand that we are all leaders. You were born to lead, but I'll give you something in a second. You were born to lead. I want you to hold on to that. You were born to lead. So when people say, well, no, I don't lead, I'm good with following them. See, no, let me tell you today, you were born to lead. Leadership is in all of us. But let me give you a breakdown really quick, because we're gonna talk today. Let me give you a breakdown really quick. See, when we talk about restoration of broken leadership, I want you guys to understand something. Leadership is within all of us. It was already given. But I'm gonna take you back to something that's favorable to me. And you guys should know me by now. I love to talk about how I study the word. I love talking about the text. In all these different things that I read, I love to talk about the word that I study. And studying the good book, for me, has done some amazing things, because it allows me to compare a lot of the stories with books that I'm reading. And we're talking about leadership, but I'll need you to understand the importance of leadership real quick. When we're talking about that, restoring it. In the good book, one of my favorite areas of the many areas that I love in the book is the beginning. The beginning of the book, the Most High talked in Genesis 1. Genesis 1, I want you guys to hold on to this. He said, let us make man. I want you to hear this. Let us make man. And when I say man, right, I'm speaking plural, because man is the species. He said, let us make man in the likeness and image of ourselves. The likeness and image of ourselves, and then give them dominion. So I'm gonna hold on to that and let you guys, I'm gonna pause right there. He says likeness and image, and then give them dominion. So somebody, if you're paying attention, type it in there. What came first? What came first? He said, let us make man in the likeness and image, and then give them dominion. What came first, ladies and gentlemen? What came first? That's right. He said likeness and image. Image, likeness, image. That's right. It came first. Image. Here is the thing. When you're talking about leadership, ladies and gentlemen, is image. Leadership is image. Come on, somebody. Leadership is image. So I need you to understand, people, when we hear, oh, dominion, oh yeah, I got dominion over everything. No. You don't have dominion over everything. You have dominion over everything except people. You don't own people. You don't control people. If you're with me, type with you. If you're with me, type with you. See, you have dominion over everything except people. I need you guys to follow me. I need you guys to follow me. So now, image is extremely important. So when I talked about those characters, that they stay the same, I need you to understand image represents your character. Image represents your character. And here is the thing about that. Your character will always be tested. See, the more I study, I get to realize when we like to say, no, I profess that greatness is my portion, and I profess that I will never go through any trials. Ladies and gentlemen, stop. You have no power over the laws that have been put in place when it comes down to the trial. See, your mouth professing what the Creator's already put in place cannot stop what needs to happen. Come on, don't think y'all hearing me. See, we got a lot of people who are professing to speak on leadership. But see, leadership requires studying and time and understanding. See, your character is your image. Most people run into this leading with dominionship. And we're talking about likeness and image. It's inverse. Now, there's a reason why he said likeness and image. Because image is your character, and your character must be tested constantly. So if we are led wrong about how great of leaders we can become, but no one teaches us how to restore that which can be lost. Woo! Come on, somebody. Come on. You guys with me? See, let me give you 3 things real quick. 3 things. 3 things off of my notes. I want to give you guys. This is very important, right? 3 things off of my notes. 3 things off of my notes. There are 3 things to test your character. 3 things that will test your character. 3 things. Write them down. Write them down. 3 things that will test your character. 1, appetite. Your appetite. Write it down. Your appetite. What am I saying when I say your appetite? Your appetite, which includes food, drink, and sex. Write them down. Food, drink, and sex. That's number 1. Your appetite, which includes food, drink, and sex. The second one, fame. Fame. The third one, power. Said 3 things: appetite, fame, and power. With appetite, I said, which includes food, drink, and sex, fame, and then I said power. If you want to know who a woman or a man really is, give them some money and power. If you want to know who a man or a woman really is, give them some money and power. We're talking about that character now. Need you guys to understand me. We're talking about that character. See, these 3 things will always test your character. You know the character of a man or a woman by these 3 things. You know how a man or a woman operates when it comes down to food or drink. The good books talks about gluttony, how people operate for food and drink. It's always want, 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 want. Can't have enough. You know, we use the term really just wild today, loosely. I'm a foodie. Right? But you know the character of a person. You know, I took some time the other night. My wife and I was sitting down at the counter, and she was going through some of her things that she was documenting and her notes. And then she was also, she pulled up something for me to look at and, you know, she teach on etiquette and things of that nature, right? So we're looking at something and it's amazing what I was looking at for a few minutes, the individual were talking about just elegance and etiquette and how you should carry yourself. And I smiled as I was studying, and this came into my vision in terms of, wow, your appetite, how it can show the character of a man or a woman. See, some of you right now, you're saying, whoa, hold on, your appetite, what, your appetite for sex? How it can show the character of a man or a woman. So we're talking about restoring broken character. Remember, he said image. He said image, ladies and gentlemen. Because see, here is the thing. Here is why it's so amazing how the Creator is so amazing in what he's done. See, when I took the time to study the greatest leader that ever walked the planet, which is Yeshua himself, Jesus Christ, as I've been taking time to study him, I got to realize, and I said, oh, it's so amazing what he has exuded. It's so powerful how he has shown that the appetite can be controlled. Fame, ladies and gentlemen, is like a flame. It goes out. See, when I was studying the greatest leader and I realized, I said, wow, he wasn't famous. He was influential. He wasn't famous, he was influential, because fame, today they like you, tomorrow they don't. So fame comes and goes, but influence lasts a lifetime. Come on, somebody, if you're with me, type 1 in the chat. So we're trying to understand how you deal with this broken character. How do we get it to be where it needs to be? How do we become better? Now I need you guys to understand there is something called the power of values. Write it down. The power of values. This is so important. The power of values. Ask yourself, what are my values? What are my values? Write these values down, ladies and gentlemen. It's so important to write these values down, because this right now is so powerful. You should hold it in your chest. Value number 1, values are better than rules. Values are better than rules. See, I was studying one of my mentors, and when I heard him say that some years back, I said, hold on, I got to look at this. And I started and I forgot, and then I got into trouble along my way of life in something I might have done and didn't know how to handle it. And then I had to go back to mentorship. See, mentorship I thought was oh, well, you just need mentorship once in a while. That's what I thought those many years back. I didn't realize that mentorship is an ongoing process, that you move from mentor to mentor, or you have mentors that are great for a particular season or compartmentalized for a particular area. But mentoring never stops. If you see someone that is reflection of what you believe is great leadership, then that person will always have mentorship. So right now, most of you need to say, I'm going to need a value partner. Number 2 on those values. Values are more important than rules. I said values are better than rules, and now I said values are more important than rules. Values are more important than rules. Number 3, values outlive rules. They outlive them. I was going back through my notes. I said, "Ooh, my mentor, boy, I said, man, I was slipping." I said, how can I need to go back to some notes. I need to go back into some books. I need to see what I was missing. Values outlive rules. That's what said number 3. Number 4, write it down. Values must be identified. Values must be identified. Number 5, values send a message. Values send a message. Number 6, values must be believed. Values must be believed. Number 7, values must be accepted. Number 7 is values must be accepted. Number 8, values are personal, but never private. Values are personal, but never private. Number 9, values shape an organization and a nation. Values shape an organization and a nation. This is extremely important for you to understand. This is powerful. I said, wow. I was thinking back so long, I said, man, my mentor is onto something. But I need to find out for myself what that something is and what it represents in me, and to come into community, the society that I live, right? I said it shapes an organization and a nation. That was number 9. Number 10, write it down. Values become a culture. Values become a culture. Values become a culture. Number 11, values attract like values. And I'm gonna give you one more. Values attract like values. Number 12, values must be shared. Values must be shared. The values aren't for you to hold on to, okay? Values must be shared. Let's talk about that 11 for a second. What I said, values attract like values. Let's talk about that for 1 second. When we're talking about values attract like values, I want somebody to think about that. Whatever your value system is, ladies and gentlemen, whatever your value system is, it becomes a magnet to attract those that have like-minded values. See, the more I studied, I realized we got this thing where we like to say, well, you know, it's just this feeling that I have. And, you know, I just kind of feel that energy that she has and he has. Well, today I came to break it down to you. See, it's not the energy that you felt without not knowing. Here is what it is. It is the values that is put in place from the actual image that you have to represent, because the image is your character. And if you are representing a character that is one that stands upright, then you have to have a value system in place. And if the value system is in place, then what will happen is like-mindedness would be attracted to you. So when you said, oh, I feel your energy, here is the thing, you can feel energy all day, but it doesn't mean that energy is the right energy. So if you understand that your values must be shared, and if you understand that your values attract like values, then the energy that you will feel from someone, it'll be the attraction of the like-minded values that you have. And you will feel it and see it clearly, because character is image. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Character is image. You heard what I said. Values are personal, but never private. You know why? Because your image cannot be private. Come on, somebody. Your image cannot be private. This is why he said, let us make man in the likeness and image of ourselves, and then give them dominion. Some folks is running to dominion. What is wrong with these people? Running to dominion. They hear dominion. Running to dominion. They want to control something. Running to dominion. But not understanding that, no, how are you running? Are you coming to me like, are you a silverback? Or are you stepping up, coming to me, smiling, being able to learn something, being able to teach something, being able to become influential, because you're carrying the image of like-mindedness, of leadership, the image and the characteristic of your creator, the image that is so bold, the image that represents, look at me, I am who I am because I'm coming through the I am. Come on, somebody, if you're with me, type 1 in the chat. If you're with me, type 1 in the chat. See, this is extremely important when we start talking about restoring broken character. See, this is important when we talk about restoring broken character. We've been taught how to be good leaders, but no one is teaching how to restore it. No one is teaching. See, you see the same value that attracts value. Remember I said that you can, oh, I feel that energy, but oh, not all energy is good because value repels value. Come on, somebody, write it down. Values repel values. Mosquito repellent. Oh, the mosquitoes they don't want to mess with me when I spray on that mosquito repellent. Summertime, they out here. Because that ain't what they want. They don't want the repellent on. They want something they can stick on. See, your values repels values that are not in alignment with yours. Come on. Your values repel them because they're not walking upright in the space that you're walking in. Case in point, some of you might be saying, what do you mean? See, if you're walking with the value and stature that you should for your character to show the image that is required, then when people, evil-minded people, people that are thinking wrong, decide to have a scheme or an idea that can be conflicting or affect you, your business, or people that you're doing business with, they're not going to think of you. They're going to say, oh, don't call him, don't call her. She ain't down with that. Nah, don't call them. They don't rock like that. Because see, your values repelling them. But see, if they can think about you and say, yeah, call Cheryl, call Bob, then see, you got to say to yourself, I'm already a failure. Because if they're thinking of calling you and they call you, then guess what? Your image needs cleaning up. Come on, somebody. Your image needs cleaning up. See, we got the thing wrong. We put the blame game on. But studies now showed me there is no blame game. There's not a blame game for the image because you are in control of your image. Somebody talk to me. Come on. Hey, when you get up out of bed in the morning, you have an image that you're wearing. It's called your nighttime image because you're waking up out of the bed and your face and your head is tied up if you're a lady. If you're a man, you got up, you got the things in your eyes. You got to clean them up. You got to wash your face. You got to brush your teeth. You got to gargle. That's that image overnight, ladies and gentlemen. And now you are washing it off to spruce it up. So I want to ask you again, am I in control of your image? Am I coming into your house to pull you up out of your bed, to wash your face, to brush your teeth? Who's in control of their image? Somebody type the answer in the chat for me. Who's in control of their image? Type the answer in the chat. I want to know who I'm talking to today. I want to know if I got some folks that are with me today. Who's in control of their image? Somebody talk to me. Talk to me. Who's in control of their image? So we don't need to blame anyone anymore. We don't need to blame anyone. See, when I say values repel. So what does that mean? It means that you should wear your values loudly. Be proud. Wear your values. Wear your values loudly. Your values should speak loud to everyone that comes in contact with you, who knows you. They should know that you're about values. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, rock with me. Now, let me give you some values of leadership, because everyone was birthed to lead. We were all birthed to lead, but we're leading in some areas that's different from others. I need y'all to follow me. We're leading in some areas that's different from others. See, you got to understand your value. Let me give you that list real quick. Let me give you a few things. Value of leadership. Value of leadership. Let me give it to you really quick. Value of leadership, when you're talking about a leader that you got to restore, right? The value of faithfulness, write it down. The value of faithfulness. These are key things. I want to say this to you guys. You will love the book. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. You will love the book. You've been hearing, but see, I believe in preparing. You were hearing, oh, I've been hearing this for a year now, but I've been preparing. Because until it speaks through me, in me, with me, nobody gets it. So write it down, the value of faithfulness. The next one is the value of self-control. Remember, we talked about those three things. The value of self-control, okay? The value of steadiness. The value of steadiness, write it down. The value of steadiness. The value of integrity towards those who serve, who you serve. The value of integrity towards those who you serve. I'll say it one more time. The value of integrity towards those you serve. Value of integrity towards those you serve. Okay. The next one is the value of responsible communication. The value of responsible communication. The value of responsible communication. And this next one is the value of personal integrity. The value of personal integrity. All right. The value of personal integrity. Write it down. I'll give you two bonus ones because these are the values of leadership. These are value of a great leader, right? The value of maturity, write it down. The value of maturity and the value of humility. Maturity and humility. The value of maturity, the value of humility. See, everything that I've been giving you all today, I can spend a few hours, we can spend a few hours just teaching on these so that we have even more in-depth understanding. But I want you guys to do some homework as well. Because when information comes to you, don't just let it come in and sit. See, we have this thing that we've been hearing all our life that knowledge is power. And then I said to people, knowledge is not power. Folks look at me like, what are you talking about, Boston? This professor and this study shows that knowledge is power. How can knowledge be power if the knowledge is sitting? Information can come in and sit. You can get the master's degree, the PhD, double master's, double PhD, and don't do anything with it. See, applied knowledge that goes out and accomplish that which it went out to accomplish is power, not knowledge that's laying dormant. I want you guys to understand that. So this information, you have to value, you have to have a value system. So we're talking about this value system that one must have when we're talking about restoration of broken leadership. I need you guys to understand something. This is key. This is key. See, a lot of times what we don't understand is that we look at all these things, but it happens to every one of us. Each one of us, right? I need you to understand, everyone encounters things. See, everyone goes through some things. Everyone fails. Everyone gets knocked down. I want you to hold on to that for a second. See, the value that a leader needs to embrace and keep close are so critical to that leader's protection. The values, I'll say it again, the values that a leader needs to embrace and keep close is extremely critical to that leader's protection. You got to hold it close, ladies and gentlemen. It's critical for your protection. See, what is your value system? Ask yourself that question. What is my value system? What are the values that dictates who I am, right? See, When you look at the impact of leadership that fails, when you look at the impact, what is the impact of a leader's failure? I want you guys to think about this for a second, right? What is the impact of a leader's failure? What is the impact of a leader's failure? You see the guys leading our country, the city government, whatever it is, and when something goes wrong, what is the impact of a leader's failure? I want you to think about that. See, failing in leadership is not as great as failing to deal with the failure effectively. That right there, I want you to hold on to. Failing in leadership is not as great as failing to deal with the failure effectively. Because failure or tests will come. And if failure comes due to the test, then your failure to deal with it effectively is going to keep you down. Are you guys with me? If you're with me, type 10 in the chat. I don't want to lose anyone. If you're with me, type 10 in the chat. Wherever you guys are calling in from, type 10 in the chat if you're with me. Remember I said, everybody fails at something. Write it down. Everybody fails at something. Everyone has experienced disappointment for themselves. Everyone. Everyone has embarrassed themselves and others. Come on. We've all gone through this, right? Everybody has done something that makes them feel depressed. Why? Because that thing was below their expectations and standard. Everyone. But you got to have your value system. That value system is critical. See, the failures is not a problem. The problem is how you deal with that failure. That is the problem. How you deal with that failure. This is extremely important for us to understand when we're talking about restoring broken character. And see, from my experience, things that I've seen, people that I've encountered, right? There's so much among those that are saying that they're leaders. There's so much that I've seen. And see, I count myself into things when I go through my studies and my process and you know, I can become better at something. And I've seen so much in where leaders don't know how to handle failure. They don't know how to handle failure, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to understand how critical that is. So let me give you guys something from my notes. This is so key. I want to make sure that you guys understand this. Let me give you guys something really quick. As we taper into this, I want to give you guys so that you guys will have this to run with. How to handle failure, right? How to handle failure. Write it down. How to handle failure. Okay? And let me give you guys this really quick from my note. It says, failing in leadership is the closing of the account of trust. Failing in leadership is the closing of the account of trust. I was like, wow. Failing in leadership is the closing of the account of trust. That's important for you to understand, right? Now, you said account of trust. Well, people close the account. People close the account. I need you to understand how important that is. See, when you fail, the people shut it down. That's what happened. The people shut it down. People close the account, ladies and gentlemen. You said, what account? Your account of trust. So he said, I have a trust account. Well, what trust account? It represents the same thing. These values that I'm saying that you need to hold close is the same way when we talk about, well, I have trust account that's set up for my business and so on and so forth. It's the same value system, and the principle that goes into that is what needs to go in to your character, because your character is your image, and your image represents you. So when that trust is broken, people close the account. And here's the thing. You cannot pay for trust, you cannot pray for trust, and nor can you demand it. So don't talk about, well, I've been praying all my life. No, you cannot pray for it. You cannot pay for it, and you cannot demand it. Because trust must be, somebody type it in the chat. Trust must be, somebody type it in the chat. I wonder if you guys have been following me. If you can't pay for it, if you can't demand it, if you can't pray for it, trust must be, somebody type it in the chat. Come on, somebody listening to me. Is anybody else listening to me? Come on, folks. I know you guys are there. That's right. That's right. Trust must be earned. Come on. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. It is something that people deposit to your account. See, when I met my wife and we started to talk and we started to have dialogue, we were establishing something. I was showing her and she was showing me her image and I was showing her mine. This is why you hear when people said, you showed me something else, but now this is who you are. Remember, I gave you those things before. I gave you those things before. So when we were having those dialogues, when we were going on those dates, when I was courting her, I was building up my trust account. See, the things I said and what I would say to her about how I think about the things that she was doing, what she was involved in, the way she carried herself, her mannerism, how she approached things, my transparency in being that person was building up that trust account, because as she received it, listen to me good now, as she received it, not repelled it, as she received it, a deposit was made into that account. So you see, when you have the political leaders and you have people that are leading our cities or people that we highly regard, and they've been going and building that trust account, I need you guys to understand something. It can take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, 70 years to build up a trust account. And it can take 20, 30, 40, 50, 70 seconds to destroy it all. I'm hoping somebody's with me. Because once there is a failure, the people shut it down. See, the only problem is you violated the account. You violated that account that took you 30, 40, 50, 70 years to build because of the tragedy of failure. I want you to understand how important that is. See, trust is the currency of leadership. Ooh, y'all just got a piece of the book. Y'all just got a piece of the book. Trust is the currency of leadership. I just said you're depositing. Trust is the currency of leadership. This is extremely important for you to get. It is the currency of leadership, and it's the reason why leaders are successful. So if there's no currency because the account was closed, then a leader is no longer successful. See, it is not personal. I need you to understand. It is not your personality, I should say. It is not your personality. It is not your power. It is not that skills, your oratory skills. It is not your ability to finesse people, not your clout. Ooh, I'm smooth. You know, yeah. Call Mr. Boston. You know, he'll talk to somebody and he'll break down the deal to them. All of that doesn't matter. It is your value system. See, these other things are plus on top of your value system. But if you don't have a value system and you're thinking it's my power, it's just my skills, my oratory skills, my ability to just speak to anyone. No, trust is the currency of leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you have it down. The key to leadership is trust. The key to leadership is trust. And if you violate that trust, you lose the account. If you violate that trust, you lose the account. So here's the thing. The restoration can happen, but will take, remember, the same time or even longer, or just sometimes based on the position you're in. They may tell you, you need to step away from that position. I was hearing my mentor talk about that part one day, to step away from a position. You may need to step away for a year. You may need to step away for 2 years. You may need to step down for 4 years. But here's the thing. Sometimes it's over. Sometimes it's over. So what is the value system that you have? What is your value system? Are you looking at your values in the way that you should look at them? Are you understanding that how important this value system is? So understand this, ladies and gentlemen. You are as safe as the account that you protect. You are as safe as the account you protect. This is what I want you to hold on to. And when you violate it, what you're doing is threatening your account. When you violate it, you're threatening your account. So you ask yourself, what are you doing that might be violating your trust account? What are you secretly doing that can cancel your account? Somebody talk to me. What are you secretly doing that can cancel your account? Because things that happens in the dark, they always come to light. So what are you doing that can violate that account? What are you doing that will destroy the trust that has been created? The deposits that you've been making over those years and now has been clearly violated and destroyed. So you need to understand how important it is to have values, these values of leadership in your life. You need to understand how important it is to hold them close to you. This is why he says likeness and image, then dominion, because we walk in our image. We walk and show our likeness. We boldly present who we are. So your character is your image. Your image is your character. Your character is held by the value system that you uphold. And your value system is what now creates the currency that is deposited into that account. And that account that you're holding, it's made whole and right, serves you well. But if you defect on your value system, that account will get closed on you, because people follow those they can trust. People attach themselves to those that they can trust. People feel the like-minded values to those they can trust. So you are wearing who you are every day. So you have to represent with the right image, not the one that you believe that I am standing as me. This is who I am, so ain't nobody can tell me anything. No, there is laws and principles. Stand of what you're supposed to be, not who you think you are, what you're supposed to be. So some people are stuck in thinking, what do you need? What is the difference? No, there's a big difference. See, there is laws that have been put in place, laws that operate in the universe. There's the law of gravity. So if you think that now I can fly because this is who I am, go jump off a building and gravity will prove you otherwise. Come on, somebody, are you following me? So we're not going to talk about, no, I'm walking who I am. You know, this is who I am, so I'm going to represent who I am. No, you're going to represent who you're supposed to be. So you will understand that you weren't created for dominionship. You were created in likeness and image, and then given dominion over all things that was created under you, not things that are of your level, which is man. Man, the species that runs through female and male. Ooh, that's a whole teaching for you guys another day. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand this is the way we restore broken leadership, the restoration of brokenness, because we're taught how to be great leaders, but we don't understand the value system that which a great leader must hold on to be able to build that trust account. Ladies and gentlemen, I so appreciate you guys joining today. I'm gonna have to put a hold right there for you guys because I need you to understand. I'll say this one thing again for you guys. You are as safe as the account that you protect. You are as safe as the account that you protect. Now, if you guys are following me, if you guys are feeling this, if you guys love this session of this leadership summit today, I need y'all to throw some fire emojis, put some ones in the chat, You know, I haven't seen you guys, I haven't talked to some of you guys in a while. I'm super excited to just hear from you all. To hear from some of you, you know, this is extremely important that we have these dialogues. I don't know who is on here. I don't know who's showing their face here. I love to see people. I love to dialogue with people because see, this is critical in our life as we move forward. Today's lesson, ladies and gentlemen, I need you guys to hold on to it because we're going to talk a little bit more in depth. We're going to go even further, because this is critical for restoration. We hear about leadership all the time, how to be a great leader, levels to leadership, but no one talks about broken leadership, how it's to be restored. How we restore these broken leadership. And we're gonna go more in depth for you all to follow and move along with me. So I'm gonna just grab a second of a few of your time really quick, because I just love it when I see individuals on here. I'm gonna just grab a few of your time. I see Tina, she's on here, and I love the fact when, excuse me guys, when you guys have been here and you guys have been running with us. I love it. I so appreciate it. Miss Tina, if you don't mind unmuting, I just want to hear from you. How have you been? Understanding what you've heard today. Tell me what this has done for you today, if you're on, and can you speak to us, Miss Tina? If you're on,
yes.
Jump on in with us.
Yes, I so appreciate everything that you said today. It's so in line with some of the other things that I've been learning and other people have been saying, and it's like such confirmation, but it's some of the gold that going forward, you know, each level that you hit, you need new information, especially when you've never been there before and you are not necessarily your everyday circle isn't talking about this kind of stuff. It's really great to be able to get this information because it's needed. It's super needed. And to correct some of the errors in our thinking. I think that's the season that I'm in. A lot of the things that you thought that were wrong, getting correction so you can go forward successfully. So I really appreciate it.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. I really appreciate you for jumping in here and just speaking that, because you don't know how it affects an individual or a nation until you hear from people from that nation, right? So it's so important to hear this from you guys. Do I have anyone else who want to just kind of really quickly share how this was impactful for them today? Do I have anyone else who would love to just really quickly share? I would love to hear from you guys. Don't be shy. It's always a great thing to know what we're doing here at the Leadership Summit and how it affects the lives and change lives. You heard Ms. Tyna, she just spoke on that. Is there anyone that would want to just jump in here really quick?
I would love to share something real quick.
Hey, how are you doing, Miss Tiara?
I'm doing well.
Awesome,
doing fine.
awesome.
I just wanted to say that something that really resonated with me was when you said that trust is the currency of leadership. And I feel like that's very true, because a lot of times I've heard, if you don't have trust, you don't have nothing.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Yes, ma'am. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. Absolutely. And if we don't have trust, we don't have nothing, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to understand how important that is in our lives today, to really understand how important trust is. You know, I always see a lot of people that join on. Sometimes I just love hearing from them. Miss Carrie, I see a name, Miss Carrie. Are you able to voice a quick opinion on what you heard today?
Absolutely. And I apologize for the background noise. I'm at dinner with my daughter, but I just wanted to thank you for the confirmation. I know you touched on how values represent your character, and that resonated with me so deeply, because I'm always stressing the importance of, you know, my values being something that I would die for, something that I will, you know, work for. And sometimes you don't find like-minded individuals that have the same vision or even align with you. So I thought that was great confirmation. So thank you for that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. I mean, it's always good to hear from everyone. I urge you guys, please invite people to the calls on any platform, Clubhouse, wherever it is. Invite them. Let them join you on the Zooms. Because a lot of times you don't know what people are lacking until they get a word, right? So you want to invite friends and family when you're coming on this Leadership Summit. Invite them, tell them, listen, come on in. You know, I know some of you might say, no, I want to grab all the nuggets and I'm gonna go back to my people. I want to take the acorns and just go back. And I understand that as well. Sometimes it's good for them to come and see how it's being deposited into you, because it's a newfound respect that happens when they see that you adhere to mentorship, right? Because then they understand that, wow, if you're embracing mentorship, then they will embrace your mentorship. And that is really key. So sometimes we don't want to just hold it to ourselves. Let's go ahead and get everyone in and let them feel the same way as you guys have been feeling, because I think it's extremely important for us to do that so that they too can get it. Now, before we jump off, Mr. Kendrell, are you able to share a word? Are you able to share a word, Mr. Kendrell? Mr. Jones, are you able to share a word how this reflect on you?
Yeah, sorry, I actually joined late, but I do want to say it's always a pleasure joining these leadership series, leadership calls, because I think it's one of the things that you've always told and speak on is mindset, right? And also surrounding yourself around people, getting an inner circle, right? That uplifts you, push you at the end of the day. And so I just want to appreciate you taking the time out to pour into all of us. And it's been truly a blessing, but a lot of value out of these calls. I apologize for joining late. I had to pick up my kids from daycare.
That's values right there. And it says that the home is the first ministry. So as long as you're operating in the space of value, you're doing the right thing. And then you come and get what's left on the table. It's been waiting for you. So I appreciate you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, thank you again. Thank you guys for joining the summit today. Ladies and gentlemen, continue to stay with us, continue to promote the summit. I really want you guys to push the summit in your teams, in your organizations, and wherever it is, your companies. Let them know, listen, you guys may want to be a part of this, join on to this, or, hey, Mr. Boston, our company would love to bring you in and have you speak on leadership for our company and how we can do certain things, whatever areas that the company may need individuals in, because you got to understand, even our CEOs and our owners, they need leadership, and they continue to seek and attach themselves to mentorship so they can continue to grow. So don't ever look at them and think that they're so beyond, because even me, I seek mentorship. I have mentors, quite a few mentors, because I'm always being poured into, because I'm a student. I realize that learning is the key, and it allows me to continue to push and learn. So I push that on to you guys. I say, as you guys go on into this week, let this week be a week of fulfillment. Let this week be a week of greatness. Let every area of your life be filled with the spirit of joy, and let whatever that is yours be your portion. Whatever that is not of you, you will excuse yourself out of the way, and you will arrive to your destination of glory. You guys continue to be blessed, continue to be awesome, and I will see you guys next week, same time. Love y'all. Y'all be blessed and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.